Welcome back to day 4 of the JavaScript challenge. Today we're going to be working on building this landing page. If you're new here, my name's Zoe. I'm a software engineer and former university professor who loves teaching folks how to code. If you're interested in starting a career in front-end development, check out that first link in the description below. When I first started learning how to code, I wasn't consistent and it took me a long time to really start making progress as an engineer. But once I started coding every day, that really caused my learning to take off exponentially, which is why we're doing this challenge. So without further ado, let's hop into today's coding challenge. All right, so today we're going to be building this single page landing page here. And it's fairly straightforward, just a bunch of different design elements, some absolute positioning, Z indexing, etc. But then we do have some like active hover type states, things like that. So we'll be using those, we'll be implementing those as well. So let's go ahead and get started. I've already spun up the application, again, using my Material UI Next.js TypeScript starter. You can definitely access that down in the description below, and it's available on my GitHub site as well. So we've got that spun up. I'm going to go and start just doing my general structure, folders, components, and things like that. So I'm going to start with a folder called components, and this is where all of my major components are going to live. And I'm also going to go into my app, and I'm going to go ahead and just delete all of these sort of built-in CSS files. You can leave them in if you want. I just find usually when I'm building these more custom pages, they do more harm than good, and then I end up having to just rework a bunch of stuff. So we have our home page right here, and it's working. Let's see what we need to do. So I guess the first thing we want to focus on is this like hero component here. So I'm going to start by making two components, the hero and the nav. So let's say new file hero.tsx. And then we're going to have another component and we're going to call it the nav. And I believe our nav is going to go inside our hero because our hero image just takes up so much of the background. I want to make sure that we're not cutting off any of it by having things weirdly placed. So all that being said, let me take a look at our images and see what we're working with. Background pattern, background pattern. All right, so it seems like we're going to use a pattern for the background, and then we're going to use, we're going to do the coloring ourselves, essentially. So with the hero now, I'm going to grab this color to start with. So color slate 900, it's going to be this color right there. And I think one thing I might want to do, just because this is a slightly larger site, I'm going to actually create a colors file. So I'm just going to create a new file. I'm going to call it colors.ts. I'm going to just create a const called colors. And I'm going to say, what was this, like a purple or a dark purple? And I'm just going to assign these colors that we're going to be working with here. That's just going to make things a little bit easier when it comes time to sort of finish out the design. All right, so this is a white, so I can just, actually let me make sure, yeah, it's just regular white. So we'll say white is white. Save that. We're gonna do this green. Grab that. Save that. What other colors did they just mention here? Oh, do we have like a text color? No, that seems to be the same. Oh, it's this background color. I'm gonna grab a light, call this light purple. Cool. And I think that should be it for now. Yeah, it looks like that's it for now. We can always add in more colors if we need. All right, so back to our actual design. So we're gonna go to our hero. I'm gonna turn this into a box from Material UI. Save that. And I'm going to make the background color of this. We're gonna set it to colors. Oh, and I should export colors. So it knows to import it, colors dot dark purple. And that's gonna be our hero. And then we should actually import our hero on our page. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's import hero. We'll save that. All right. Awesome. So we have our hero there. We're not quite seeing the background color. Oh, because I didn't spell it right. There we go. Now we're seeing our background color. All right, so background color, not bad. I am still getting an issue with the margin though, so I think I need to go to my globals. I'll set my HTML, and I'll set my body. I'm just going to tell them that they should have a margin of 0. Great, so we've gotten rid of that extra margin. All right, let's move back to our hero. So yeah, with our hero now, we have the background color set to purple. We're going to set the color of the text to white, just so we can see it. And I guess what we want to do is have this like little curved situation here with the, I'm trying to see if I can select it for you. Yeah, there, with the bottom of the image there, which is really interesting. I think that's like a really cool design there. But I guess they want us to implement it using CSS. So let's try that. Let's do a Google. Let's say how to implement curved lines using CSS. Draw a curve with CSS. And this is how I'd figure out anything I didn't know how to do. Just go ahead and figure out, Stack Overflow it, just Google it. And I think a lot of people get stuck when they see something that they don't know how to do and they just don't continue to work on it. But really the best thing you can do is actually to just look it up and see if you can figure out an answer to it. All right, so now, all right, so yeah, we're looking here on Stack Overflow. You said you can use an asymmetrical border to make curves with CSS. Let's take a look. Okay, that's pretty much what we want to do right here. So we have a div, we say border radius, border color, border solid. Interesting. Okay. And there's another one here. Okay. That looks pretty good. Let's try this. I'm gonna grab this and see if we can get that to work on our box here. So I guess first thing I'll want to do, I'll say height. Let's go 40 view height, just so it's we have a little bit more to work with. And we'll adjust this to whatever we actually need it to be. But we'll say 40 view height. We'll say border. We'll go 1 pix solid. We'll say FFF. So border bottom. And then we'll try this border color. Transparent. Okay, so this is saying top. So what if I just moved it top to here? And maybe I'm doing too many things at once right now. I might just mess it up for myself, but we're gonna try. Border radius is gonna be that. Actually, let me move this back because I'm probably gonna screw it up moving it around too much. All right, cool. All right, so it worked. So it worked on the top, so we just need to flip it now. All right, so if I move this to the bottom, and I move this to what should be the bottom position, and I save that. Okay, it's a little different. Not exactly what I wanted. If I move there. Or move this here and put that there. Okay, that's not bad actually. That's kind of what we're going for. So what if I tried that there as well? No, that's not what we're going for. All right. And again, I'm just messing around with this to see when I get the desired sort of look that we're going for, because we want it to curve on both sides. Honestly, I think we had better luck before, so I'm just gonna drop this back in as that, and then I'm just gonna flip it. I think that's probably the easiest thing, but there's probably a very straightforward way that I'm just missing here to just make it on the bottom as opposed to the top. All right, cool. That doesn't look too bad. That's like fairly close to what we want. Maybe we can adjust. What if I say 60%? What does that do? Or 100%? Okay, it's kind of softening out a little bit. I like that. What if I say 200 pixels? Okay. What if I say 25 pixels? Okay, not bad. Yeah, let's try maybe a 50 pixel. And should we try this at 50 as well? Oops, 50. It's a little less dramatic. Maybe we'll go with 75. Yeah, that's all. I don't want anything crazy, just a little bit of a curve there. So we'll go with that. We don't need to spend too much time working on that. That's not really the point of this. The point is to show that you understand how to do it to a degree. So we'll go with that. Next thing we want to do here, so we have our background. I'm going to make it a little bit larger. Let's say 80 view height. Cool. And then we're going to start dropping in our actual pieces here. So we're going to go with our nav. Let's start with that. And we're going to start with a box from Material UI. I'm going to say box. And then it's going to be what? The logo and a line that says apply for access. So I'm assuming the logo is going to be in our images here. There's a light logo and a dark logo. Okay, dark logo goes at the bottom, light logo goes on the top. Makes sense. So in the nav, we're going to start with an image from Next Image. And source is going to be /images/logo -light light.svg, and then alt is going to be logo, and then the height, width and height, we'll grab that from the actual piece here. Width is going to be 95, height is going to be 25. Width 95, height 25. Cool. And then we need to put our nav within our actual hero so it works. We're just on the page somewhere so you can see it. All right, cool. So we have our nav up there. So that's the first piece. I don't see our logo actually, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. And then we also need apply for access. So we'll drop in a typography element as well. Drop that in there. We'll say apply for access. And we'll save that. Oh, it flips everything. Oh, that's super not ideal. All right, so then, what do we do? Do I just wrap? Oh, what if I made another box? This is a bit convoluted now. But if I made another box and I said everything inside, we flip. Okay, that works, but we have this huge space. Why is that? Transform, translate. See if that works. Okay, and that kind of works. Again, this is probably not the ideal solution. If you do have a better solution, please implement it here because it'll look a lot better, I'm sure. All right, so the next thing that we want to do is actually, let's finish fixing up the nav. So let's turn this, let's do some styling with this. Let's say display is flex, and justify content is going to be space between. Cool, looks pretty good. And then I want to, how does the containering kind of work here? It looks like there's like a general inner container. So maybe what I'll do is I'll use, instead of a box, I'm gonna maybe use a container. material UI container. Yeah, we'll do that. We'll say import container. We'll save that. And awesome, that looks a lot better. So then we'll just use this container for the inner pieces of all our components, and that should work really well. All right, so we have work it, we have apply for access. With this, with our typography here, I'm gonna say, and hover, or no, sorry, first we need the, is there an underline? There's an underline. So we'll say text decoration. We'll say text decoration underline. And then we'll say, is it text decoration? Text decoration color is going to be colors.green. We just need to import colors. Import colors. We did in the last one. What was it? Oh, here we go. Cool. Awesome. Not bad. What else can we do then in text decoration? Decoration thickness, we'll say. And then what else can we do? Text decoration underline offset, we'll say. Okay, cool. I think that's pretty decent for now. We'll go with that and maybe make it a little bit thinner. Yeah, pretty good. All right, cool. We'll go with that for now. Let's move on to the next section here. And honestly, I think I should have just made that some sort of like fixed style because I think we're going to be reusing it. But anyway, now we want to do this middle section here, the H1, data tailored to your needs. So let's hop out of the nav and go back into the hero. Get rid of this, we've already implemented it. And underneath our nav, we're going to add in our typography element, and we're going to say variant equals to H1. And we're going to say data tailored to your needs. Data tailored to your needs. Save that. Import this. Save that. Cool. Awesome. Not too bad. Oh, that's not great. So basically every time I add something now it's going to push it up. All right, that's annoying. All right, we'll have to work with this. But again, as you see, it's not an ideal solution. So yeah, if you figure out how to do this better when you spend a little more time on it, definitely do that. All right, so data tailored to your needs. We're going to say font family is going to be serif. So it's going to be different from the rest of them. And then, what is the font weight of this? Semi-bold. I guess that's fine. But we want tailored to be underlined. So let's add in, let's make a span here. And I think what I'm going to do, I think in my globals, I'm going to make a neon underline class. And then I'm going to just grab all of those styles, all of this right here from my access, apply for access piece. And I'm just going to use that as my neon underline class. And I'm just going to write this out as regular CSS and then just apply the class across all these elements because it's necessary for so many different elements. I think it'll be worth it. Underline. The only thing I will need to do though is import that color. But I can do that. That is a small thing. So this one, underline, does not need to be in quotes. To rem. This. All right, cool. So then now if I go to my nav and I just say class name and I say neon underline, we should see no difference. Perfect. So then now what I can do, the reason I did all that was so I could go with my span and I can do the same thing. I can say class name equals neon underline. And I'll save that. And there we go. Perfect. All right, so that's there. Let us, okay, I'm gonna set a max width for this to be, let's see, max width, so it wraps. Width is gonna be 600 pixels. That's way too much, apparently. Oh no, I just didn't save anything. All right, let's do maybe 35 RAM. We want it to wrap on the 2. Oh, and there's a period at the end of needs. Let's do 30. Great. And then we're gonna say text align center and save that. Perfect. Awesome. All right, so that's looking pretty decent. With the container now, I want to have it as a flex block. So I'm going to say display flex. Flex direction is going to be column. And we're going to say align items to the center. Cool. But then for the nav, I want to say justify content space between width, oops, 100%. I'm not sure if that's gonna work. That worked. Okay, cool, perfect. And then, yeah, so now for my H1, I want some more margin to it. So I'm gonna say margin, I'm gonna say 2 rem, top and bottom. And again, you see it's pushing stuff up. That's because of our weird attempt to make this look interesting. So I'll just move all that down for now. And then we're going to do a learn more button. Now, is this a button that we reuse? We do. We have two, this button's reused twice. So I'm just going to create a custom button for this. So I'm going to go into my components. I'm going to say button.tsx. And I'm going to say import button as custom. Import button. I wonder if it'll let me do custom or as movie button. Slash button. It doesn't usually let me do this. All right, so we'll just change it to be custom button. Custom button. And we'll just import that. And then we're going to change this to button. And what custom button is going to do is going to take in some text. If we were building this out fully, it would probably also take in like where it's going to link to or whatever action is going to happen on click. But for right now, it's just going to take in text. So we're going to say text string, really simple. And then we'll say text. We're going to props, and we'll say oops text. And we'll save that there. All right, cool. So we have custom button with our text there, and that looks pretty good. We're gonna put it in under our typography element. So we're gonna say we're gonna import our button from custom button, and then we're gonna say text equals what is our text? Learn more. Save that. Cool. All right, so getting started. It's working. Now we want to style it. So we'll say background color is going to be, let's say colors dot green. Good. We'll say border radius is 0. We'll say the color is going to be dark purple. Dark purple. Awesome. And then we're going to add in, we're going to say text transform none. So I think right now it's, yeah, converting it to uppercase. Let's see. We'll do a little bit of padding. Padding. Okay. And then I think I'm just going to make the font weight a little bit more pronounced. Let's try 600. Maybe that's too much. That's all right. Cool. Maybe 5, but 5 is normal. Yeah, let's go with 6, just to make it a little bit more pronounced. All right, cool. And actually no, it should be 5. Which I think is default. Anyhow, let's go with that. And yeah, that looks pretty decent right now. I'm pretty content with that. I want to add in these like squiggly things next so that we can finish up with this hero component. So I'll close out my custom button, and I'm going to now look for my images. So I'll say image, same, oh, did we not import it from Next earlier? All right, we'll say image, Next, and then background pattern. I don't know which one is which, so we're just gonna copy the path and change the number as necessary. So source is gonna be BG pattern 1, alt equals decorative squiggle, and then the dimensions of this ornamental. I don't know, let's do a guesstimate. Let's say height 200, width 350, and we'll save that. Okay, cool, not bad. And it was the right squiggle, so we're good to go. All right, so this I'm gonna then style. I'm gonna say position absolute. We're gonna say left is going to be -10, or left is 0. Oh, I wonder if it'll -100. All right. Yeah, because it's in the container, so it needs to like go outside the container. So let's say -250. Okay, getting closer. I also want to make it a little bit bigger, so let's change the height to 400, the width to like 650. Yeah, that's a little bit closer. 350. $250, $350. Move it up a little bit too. We'll say top 0. Oh, and you know what? That's probably going to change too because of the when I change where things are laying. So let's actually leave that for now. Actually, let's set the top. Let's move it down a little bit. It's going to be further away from Workit. Yeah, that looks pretty decent. I think we could even get away with 400 here. Cool. Let's go with that for now. 375. And then we'll do the other squiggle, which is smaller. So we'll copy this. I'm hoping it's BG pattern 2. Okay. Oh, that's a different squiggle. Let's see. Let's remove this. Put that to 0. Okay, cool. Yeah. Yeah, that's the next squiggle. So we're going to make it a little bit smaller. 300 by, let's say, 500. And then we'll say right 0. Let's say right -375. Maybe not so much. Maybe 350. Maybe 300. Cool. And it's going to be a little bit lower, so say top 150. Maybe even lower than that. Let's say top 200. And actually, I think it's a little bit too big still. We're going to change it to 200 by 400. All right, cool. And I think you could go down a little bit more still, maybe 300. Oops, 300. I think that's pretty good. Last thing we'll need to put in before we do the whole adjusting of vertical situation here is this phone image. So let me grab that, drop in another one of these, and we'll just change it to be the image. So I think it's image hero. Hero.webp iPhone cartoon, something like that. Take those out. Okay, looking pretty good. 767 by 441. Pretty close. And then we want to just bring it down a bit. So we'll say top. $300. That looks pretty decent. Okay, we're gonna have to deal with that overflow in a second, but other than that, it might actually be a little bit too big, to be honest. That looks a little bit closer to the size of the design. Yeah, I think that's a little bit closer. So now what I'm going to do, I'm just going to move everything up. So yeah, up here where I have the translate Y, maybe I don't need to translate at all. Or maybe I do. Let's see, when I take it to -10, translate Y, maybe I need to actually do the opposite, translate it up. Oh no, that's translating it down. So let's say -40 view height. Wow, and that's pretty much it. We'll move that phone up a little bit more. Somewhere in the middle. And I think the hero is pretty good. I think I'm pretty much set on the hero. The only thing I don't like is this overflow. So let me see if I can see where that's coming from. Body. Div. I think it's coming from the image. All right, so let's see if we can set the overflow. To be hidden. Perfect. Awesome. So we're good to go there. Oh, the one thing I do have to do now is change the Z index of this. Change that to FFF and change the Z index of the image. Maybe like 5 or something like that. Did not quite work. Interesting. Overflow. Maybe I changed overflow X hidden. Let's look at the X. Interesting. So it's just gonna be stuck regardless. I wonder if I put it outside the container, if that helps. Oh, weird. Now it makes a container scroll. Okay. Maybe this is something that goes on the page itself, if it's giving it this much trouble. Okay, yeah, that looks a lot better. I'll we're just gonna say line items gonna be center. Ooh. Let's see if we can do width. 100%. That doesn't look great. Let's see. Alright, well that doesn't look great, so we'll just take out that. I was trying to just center it more easily, but we can just also do it with left and right. Let's do 450. And it's not going to be perfect. Again, this is like not the ideal solution for your portfolio, but in terms of just getting stuff out the door, right? Like part of what stops a lot of people from becoming engineers is that they don't just like build stuff. And so this is part of this challenge. The whole purpose of this challenge is to just spend several days just building things, just building until you get into that habit of coding every single day and building new projects. All right, cool. So the hero is pretty much done. Let's move on. We have this middle section here. Oh, and that's so interesting. There's another curve section. Oh, geez. All right. We'll make it work. All right, so we have this, they're calling it value. All right, we'll call it value section here. So we'll create a new file, call it value.tsx. And it's these three cards that have like a number, title, and information. Okay, pretty straightforward. So we're going to create a new file. I'm going to say card. Just so I can have something to sort of like hold them all in. We're going to turn that into a box, which is really just a div. And then, yeah, it's going to be pretty straightforward. So we'll say display, flex direction is going to be column, and then we're going to have we're going to pass in a number, a title, and the description. And those are going to come from, define those in our props. Number is number, title is string, description is also a string, and those are going to be of the props type. Cool, good to go there. So then here in the top first one, we're going to say it's going to be a number. And we're going to have a border, one pick solid, and it's going to be, I think it's that dark purple color. Colors, yep, dark purple. And then also the actual text itself is going to be the dark purple color. So we'll say colors dot dark purple, save that. And then we are going to have the title. So we'll say title, same thing. And then we're going to have the description. And then I'll assign variants to this in a minute. But I just want to get the sort of base set up. And then now for the value, this is what's going to actually hold like all the cards. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to create a box. say box, and then I'm going to say const card detail, and it's going to be an array of objects where the number, we start with 1, the title is going to be actionable insights. Actionable insights. And then the description is going to be that. Cool. And we'll just create 2 more of those. And we'll change that up to 2 and to 3. Cool. And so then now for our value box, I'm going to say this is going to have a display of flex, and we're going to say we want to justify our content by spacing them evenly. I think it's either going to be space evenly or space around. Have not decided yet. And then we're going to take the card detail and we're going to map over each card. Oops, card. And then we want to go ahead and return a card. And then we're going to pass it that information. So we're going to say number equals card.number, title equals card.title, description equals card.description, and key, which is probably why it's giving me the error, is card.number. Cool, we'll save that. So now if we look back at our page, we don't have anything yet because we have not put this on the page. So let's put the value on the page. The real value of this. Value, and we'll save that. All right, cool. So we have something going on there. It's not exactly how we want it to look, but it's working so far. All right, so value is there on the page. We do want to do this like background thing again. So I guess that's part of what we'll need to do with this box. So let me borrow this part of this. And then yes, we do need to do the container pattern. All right, so I'll borrow some of this, closing out a few of these extra ones. I'm gonna drop that in there. I'm gonna do colors.light purple for the background. We're gonna take that off. Not sure if we're gonna do 80 view heights. All of that checks out. Then we're gonna drop the container in here. And that's gonna wrap around that. We'll say /container, and then we're gonna apply this to the container. Cool, and that kind of works. It kind of works. If I move it up more. Nothing to translate. Why? Oh, no. Plus faulty view height. Okay. And then we'll say z index is 1. And if I say the z index of this is 5, there we go. We have an overlap there. All right, so that's good. So then back to the value now. Pause. All right, back to the value now. So we have this scroll situation, which is not ideal. So let's maybe only translate this 10 view height. And we'll say overflow hidden. Good. I think that's the wrong color though. That doesn't seem like the right the right, yeah, this I think is a different color. Extra light purple. Yeah, probably would have been better if I just borrowed their naming convention, but here we are. That's better. Okay. And then, let's see. Okay, so we just need to push it down a little bit. Cool, that's good. And then we don't need a flex direction of column. Good. All right, cool. So that's working pretty well. And yeah, we actually don't need this translate situation anymore. So now looking at the cards themselves, let's try and match it a little bit more closely to this design. So, oh, and there's a combination of serif and sans serif font. So for instance, this first one is going to be a serif. So we'll say font family, serif, and the border radius is going to be 50%. So hopefully it should make, oh, nope, did not make a great circle there. Let's say height, 1 rem. Let's say width, 1 rem. I'll save that. Okay, good. Yeah, let's make it a little bit bigger. Good. Center all of this. Okay, cool. So we have 1, 2, and 3. And then actionable insight is also a serif font, so we'll add that to this one here. And again, we could do this with classes and make a serif class, and you know, it kind of just depends on how you want to do it. We're gonna make this, what is 38, and it's a little bit bold, so we're gonna say font size. And actually, I'm gonna use a variant for this. I'm gonna say variant equals H2. Maybe H3 actually. Let's say font size 38. Save that. And then we'll say font weight, it's gonna be 600. Okay, so we have our actionable insights. And then we have just our regular information on the bottom here. Just our regular description details. Cool. So now within these cards, I want everything to be centered. So on the box here, I'm going to say align items to the center. And then I want to add some spacing. So 56 is the margin bottom here. 3.5 rem, and then 28 is the margin bottom on the title. Cool. And then we want a text align center here. So we'll say this is for the description. Center. Not bad. And then I think I want to increase the line height. Line height to 1.5. Kind of something like that. Maybe 1.5 rem. 1.75 rem. Alright, cool. That looks pretty decent. So we have our 3 sections here. And again, you can go ahead and put in the right text and things like that. Really, we're focusing on the style and design of this one. So we have that there, and then we need our last section now here. So this is our CTA. So if we hop over, oh, and we do have our icons, so we can even do the little footer. So if we hop over, I'm going to close out value now, close out hero. We're going to create a new component called CTA, call to action. We're going to create that. And it's going to be this image with this box. All right, so let's start by creating this, turning it into a box. Save that. And we need to grab the image component, and it's gonna be, let's see, image founder webp. Perfect, and it already has the background color. So we'll just copy the relative path there, and we'll say source equals that. Clear that out. Alt equals founder image. Height is going to be 477 by 477. Width is going to be 477. Cool. And then we should actually import CTA onto the page. And we'll import that there. And there we go. All right, cool. So we have our founder's image right there. Other thing that reminded me to do was to actually drop a container here. I actually probably could have just used the container as used the container instead of the box, but also not the worst thing in the world. It would just make it cleaner. And cool. Now we have our founder within the bounds of what we've decided to show. All right, so then we have that, and then now we need this sort of text box situation. Let's go ahead and just create another box here. So we'll say box, and then it's going to be two typography elements and a button. Be the first to test. So does this match typography? Be the first to test. And it's 64. For M. Right? Yes. And then font family is going to be serif. Oh, typography. And this is just because I'm using server side instead of client side at the moment. Be the first to test. Great. Oh, we also want this to have a background color. Background color to be colors dot dark purple. And we also then need this to have a color of colors dot white so we can actually see it. Cool. And then I'm trying to think how I think I want to absolute position this box. Absolute. This is just in such an awkward place. I think I'm going to say right 0. Okay. Maybe right 25. Right 200. And then bottom 200. Oh, no, not what I want to do there. Bottom minus 200. Get rid of the bottom entirely. All right, cool. We'll go with that. Let's say top 200. 2000. Okay, so we could do it from the top, but not really fancying that. Let's finish building it out. Whoops, and we'll see. Oh, it does actually come a little bit below, so that could work well. So we'll say be the first to test. We'll add in some padding. This is in this box. Say padding, 4M, all the way around. Be the first to test. Oh, it just keeps going down further. We might actually have to move it up. All right, we'll say bottom 10. Minus 10. Say top. 1,000. $1,500. And actually it's going to be over his face a little bit, so 250. Nope, 400. Nope. 350. This is the fun of CSS. You're like, not quite. And I guess I could make my life easier if I just put up a second screen. But sometimes you're not able to put up a second screen. Sometimes it's not the right thing to do. Nope, 1450. Okay, cool. That looks pretty decent. Let's grab this blurb and we'll drop in a new typography element here. And okay, we're gonna set a max width for this, 602. Or just a width. Cool. Oh, and that's gonna mess up our left and right and all that. Okay. Well, let me finish throwing everything in here and then we can adjust that. So then I'll have that there, and then I'm going to also add in the button, our custom button. And our text is going to be apply for access. We're going to save that. Cool. And also I need to change the color of this to colors, not white. Good. And then where was it that I had that line height? It was in the value in the cards. I'm going to use that same line height over here. Okay, cool. I just want to add a little bit of margin to this. Say margin to rem. And actually 1 rem, 2 rem. Cool. And then yeah, we'll move it back over a little bit. Say 200. 175. Cool. Not bad. I think that's pretty close. Oh, last thing we need is this squiggly. So this is a third squiggly, I suppose. So I'll just go back to my hero, borrow this, and drop it on the bottom here. Should be within the container. And I guess we're going to use squiggly pattern 3, I believe. Yeah, background pattern 3. And let's see if we can figure out where that went. Okay, so no, that's not where we want it. Let's put it 1400 down from the top. Okay, there it is, almost there. Let's say 1600. I changed it to relative. Yeah, I think that's what I was doing wrong there. I should just make it relative. That way, when I change the rest of the page, this doesn't move. Where is it supposed to go under? Under there. All right, so maybe just like 25. Okay. And then top 100. Try 150. All right, cool. So something like that. And then I can also fix this. The box itself, I'll say relative, and then I'll say 200. And then right, we'll say 0. All right, cool. And that looks pretty decent. Oh, it's thrown off our other piece there, sorry. All right, cool. Pretty decent. So we have those two. The last step now is just going to be adding in this little footer element right here. So that looks just like a logo and those SVG icons. So let's see if we can add those in there. So let's create one last component. Call it footer.tsx. And we're going to turn it into a box like we do. Save that. And then I'm going to use the image component. So image from next image, source equals copy relative path. We're going to say alt is logo, height is whatever we set the first height to. I'm going to copy those two because they should be the same. And close the tag. Awesome. Oops. Close the tag. Oh, and I should actually put it on the page. That would help us see it. Footer. Save that. All right, so we are getting some weird spacing now. Let's see why that is. Ah, okay, it's because of this box. So I'm gonna, this is the lower box. All right, so I'm gonna set a max height for the CTA box. So I'll say, okay, cool. So that's no longer setting the height. What is still setting the height though? What is that? Oh, the container. The container. All right, so we'll also set this to the max height. Or maybe not. Something else still. All right, we'll leave that alone. All right, so we have our footer. I'm gonna wrap it in a container as well. And then we're gonna say display flex, justify content center. Actually, it's gonna be flex direction column. And we're gonna say align items to be in the center. And then, so we have our image. And then we're going to make a box, and we're going to bring in a couple, actually, I shouldn't have copied those so quickly. I want to grab these icons, but yeah, they're going to be 20 by 20. 20 by 20. And then we're going to just say icon Facebook. And just create 3 of those. Instagram, Twitter. Cool. And then we'll say style, margin, bottom. Cool. Get some spacing there. And then we'll say style, margin, bottom. Get some space in there. Maybe we'll do just margin, bottom, and top. Make it 4. Oh, when did I do that? When did I do that? All right. Alright, we're gonna set this back to absolute. I think making that change screwed a lot of things up. Alright, so we'll set this back to, and leave that as relative for now. Yeah, I think that just screwed a bunch of stuff up. Absolute. Okay. And then for this, then we'll have work it. And we'll have, oh yeah, our little squiggly line. Cool, and there we go. We have, oh geez, I screwed it up again. We have almost our full page application there. Okay, there it is, just disappeared. Whew. It's like, how did I make that disappear? All right, cool. So yeah, we have our full page application here. You know, we could do some hover states. Which would be, I guess, when you hover on the button. Oh, when you hover on the button or you hover on apply for access, it turns green. All right, that's pretty straightforward. Let's do that real quick. So if you go to the nav, typography, we say, and, whoops, and hover. Color is going to be colors.green. So now when I hover, it turns green. Cool. And now when I hover on that, the button, say, and hover, the border is 1 pixel, solid, colors to green, and the actual color of the text also becomes green. Colors green, and the, whoops, and the background color becomes transparent. Can we do that? Background color, none. Let's see if that works. Yes. Sick. And we're going to do 2 pixels. All right, the shifting is not great, but other than that, I think everything's pretty solid with this. So I'm fairly happy with this, considering it was a quick build just to get, again, just get stuff added to your portfolio, just build more projects. You're gonna get better as you go. And if you're not working within a time crunch, you're gonna be able to spend a little bit more time building these out really much more correctly than what we've done today. But still, anything that you can add to your portfolio that shows you're able to understand and execute on a design is great. So if you enjoyed this video, please hit the like. If you want to see more content like this or follow along with this challenge, please hit that subscribe button below. I'm going to link all of the rest of the videos in this series up here, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. See you.